Today we're going to try something different with Pokemon Quiz. We're going to use a special quiz, and yeah, we're going to go through this. And because I don't know really what sub-legendary, legendary, mythical, ultra beast or paradox is, I don't know the Pokemon that fit in these categories exactly. So I'm going to look at the silhouette and then sort of guess from there. Because knowing the Pokedex number is one thing. Another thing is just to, name all the Pokemon that's in this. So I can start with legendary birds. So if I just go with Articuno, I go Zapdos, Zapdos and Moltres, that's easy, right? And then if we think about Mewtwo and Mew, that comes to mind. Okay, so Mew is a mythical, Mewtwo, legendary Pokemon. Okay, so what about Dragonite? Does Dragonite count as one of them? Okay, Dragonite is not one of them. Okay, so that's pretty much Kanto region. So if I quickly scan through Kanto region, are there any other legendary Pokemon? So what I gathered from that is normally it's towards the end of that region. So now let's go to the Johto region. So I'm going to first try to work this out myself first, and then I'm going to work with a silhouette. Okay, so if we talk about Gen 2, right? So if you sort of move towards to the end of, the three legendary Pokemons, so Entei, well, starting with Raikou, Entei, and then Suicune. Okay, so it seems like we're missing something there already. So it's Raikou, and then Suicune. Larvitar, Pupitar, Tyranitar, those don't really work. Okay, so Lugia is legendary. Ho-Oh is probably also legendary. Celebi is probably mythical. Oh yes, okay, Celebi is mythical. So that sort of works with Johto Pokemons. Now moving on to Hoenn. So moving on to Hoenn, if we look at towards the end, right? So we have Latias and Latios. Let's see if Latias, okay, Latias and Latios. But there seems to be some Pokemon that we've missed over there. And I just wonder if that's Regirock. But we'll have to confirm. Okay, but besides from that, there's Kyogre, there's Groudon, and there's Rayquaza. And then there's Jirachi, which is a mythical Pokemon. And then there's Deoxys, which is also a mythical Pokemon. Okay, let's sort of look back to Hoenn and see if there's other Pokemon that should be in there. So sort of towards the end. So towards the end, you will see Beldum, Metang, and and Metagross. So let's try this. Is Metagross? No. Okay, Regirock. Okay, so Regirock, the evolution, seems they are sub-legendary Pokemons. So it's Registeel. Okay, cool. Now, let's move on to Sinnoh. So moving on to Sinnoh, if we look towards the end, of Sinnoh, which starts from Chespin, all the way up to... So we know it ends with Arceus, and then we have Shaman, and then we have Darkrai. Okay. But if we move before that, let's try this out. So, okay, no, that wouldn't work. So we have Probopass, Dusknoir, Frostlass. So let's try with Arceus first. We'll work backwards. Arceus is a mythical Pokemon. Let's Shaman. Shaman is also mythical. Darkrai. Darkrai is also mythical. Okay. Interesting. Then moving back up, we have Manaphy and then Phione. So Phione and Manaphy. Cool. Now let's see if there's other things before that. So we have the whole line from, yes, this heat ran. So everything from heat ran, which is 485 heat ran. Okay, clearly something we've missed over there, but we'll get back. And then we have Regi Gigas. We have Giratina, which is a legendary. Okay, so we also missed 2 legendary Pokemons over there. And then after we have Cresselia, which is also a sub-legendary. And then after that is Fiona, but we've got that already. Okay, so there's other Sinnoh Pokemon that that are considered sub-legendary. So let's try and work back from there. Let's try and work back from. So there's Dialga, there's Palkia. Okay, Dialga is legendary. Palkia is also legendary. Okay, so let's work back from that rather. So let's see here. So we have, if we work back from the line of Magnezone, we have Licky, we have Rhyperior, and then we have Tangrowth, Electivire, Magmortar, Togekiss, Yanmega, Leafeon, Glaceon, Gliscor, Mamoswine, Porygon Z, Gallade, Probopass, Dusknoir, Frostlass. No, none of them. Okay, so Rotom also not. Uxie, okay, Uxie is a self Mesprit. There we go. So that should cover the Sinnoh region. Moving on to the Unova region. Victini is probably one of it because it's Victini is a mythical Pokemon. Because it's one of it's the only region where the first Pokemon of the region is not one of the starters. And 494. Okay. So now let's work towards the end because I think there's a lot. And I think we should start with Tornados. Okay, this is an Ultra Beast that we need to account for. Okay, so Terrakion is probably Terrakion. Terrakion is also part of it. Cobalion is also Cobalion. Okay, Cobalion, Terrakion, Sublegendary, and then Virizion. Then we have Thunderous. We have Reshiram. But Landorus is actually later, but it's also a sub-legendary. It's just weird because if you look at the Pokédex numbers, Thunderous is Tornados is 641, and then Tornados is 642. Reshiram is 643, and Reshiram is a legendary Pokemon. Zekrom 644. 645 is Landorus. 646 is Kyurem, also legendary. Okay, so and then we have Caldeo, 647, which is a mythical. 648 is Meloetta, which is mythical. And then we have Genesect, which is also a mythical Pokemon. Okay, we haven't met the Ultra Beasts yet, but we eventually should get there. Okay, moving on to the Kalos region, which starts from 650 all the way up to 621, ending with Volcanion. Volcanion is probably going to be a legendary Pokemon. So if we just put that there, Okay, it's actually a mythical Pokemon. Okay, interesting. So before Mocha Neon is Hoopa, and then we have Diancie. Okay, and then we have Zygarde, which is 718. 717 is Yveltal, and then before that is Xerneas. So those are the legendary Pokemon. And then before that's sub-legendary, I don't think the other ones are there because that would be a Noivern and Noibat. Okay, so that would make Capture, Bergmite. Should we try Bergmite? No. Everlug? No, none of them. Cool, so that should be a Kalos. Let's move to Alola region. Rowlet, Litten, and Poplio, which starts from 722. Yes, all the way to 809. So if we look at 809, we see Melmetal. Melmetal is a mythical Pokemon. Okay, great. So there's quite a lot of Pokemons in Alola region. Then you have Meltan, which is, and then 807 is Zeraora. Zeraora. Okay, so that's also a mythical Pokemon. Interesting. And then we have Blacephalone. Blacephalone is Ultra Beast. Okay, so Blacephalone, then we have Stakataka. 805. 804 is Nagana Del. And then we have Poipo, 803. And then we have Marshadow, 802. Marshadow is a mythical Pokemon. Okay. And then we have Magiana, which 801. And then Necrozma. Necrozma is legendary, but before that is Guzzlord. Guzzlord is Ultra Beast. And before Guzzlord we have Cortana, Ultra Beast. Before Cortana is 798. 797 is Steeler, also Ultra Beast. And then we have Xurkitree, 796. 795 is Pheromosa. 794 is Buzzwole. 793 is Nihilego. And then 792 is Lulana. Okay. And then 791 is Solgaleo. 790 is Cosmoom. 789 is Cosmog. I wonder if Scrop. Okay, Scrop doesn't form part of it. Okay. So that is Alola region. Let's move into Galar. So legendary dogs. We have Zacian, which is 888. And then, yeah, 889 is Samazenta. Okay, so Zacian, legendary. Okay, Zamazenta. Great. I wonder what Inkay. Okay, Inkay doesn't form part of it. So we have before that we have Dracozolt. No, Dracozolt doesn't form part of anything. There's obviously Orcoludon, Duraludon. Okay, Dreepy. Dreepy doesn't form. Dragloak, Dragapult. Don't part of. Okay, then we have Eternatus. Okay, that's a legendary Pokemon. And then Turnitus after that is Cupful. Cupful, I doubt this, but let's see. Oh, Cupful is sub-legendary. Okay, interesting. Then we have to go and find, so there's also Urshifu. Zarude. Zarude is Mythical. Reggie... Regideki. Regideki is sub-legendary. Regidrago. Okay. And then Glastria. We have Spectria. We have Calyrex. We have Calyrex is over there. We have Rydia. Rydia is not. Cleaver. Cleaver is not part of the quiz. Okay, so we're missing quite a few over here. Let's think back. So this is Galar region. The Tapuleles. Oh, okay. So Tapu Coco. Tapu Bulu. Tapu Fini. Cool. So those are actually all what you call it, Alola region. So probably we thinking about Type Now and Suvaldi. So that's Alola region. And then Cleaver. Okay, Cleaver doesn't seem to be part of Ursaluna. No. Basque Legion. Overquill doesn't seem to be Sneasler. Overquill. No, none of them. Inamaras. Inamaras is. Then we ending up with the Paldea region. We have Sprigatito, we have Fuecoco, we have Quaxley. So all the way to the end. So should we start with Woe Chain? And there's also Gimme Gal. Or maybe we should start with Great Tusk. Great Tusk. Okay, Great Tusk. Seems to be all the Paradox region, or not region, Paradox Pokemon. Interesting. I should learn more about this. So essentially Great Tusk is 984. And 985, which is painting foil, is Screamtail. So Screamtail, and then 986 is Brute Bonnet. 987 is Flutter Mane. So it's like Misdreavus, and then that's Amoonguss. Fungus, Amoonguss, and then Brute Bonnet. Yeah, interesting names. Okay, and then Flutter Mane. Misdreavus, Flutter Mane. And then that's 87. Slither Wing. Slither Wing. Sandy Shocks. Sandy Shocks. And then this is the part. We have the Iron Treads. We have the Iron Bundle. Iron Hands. We have Iron Jugulus. Okay. This is 993. So this is all the parts. I guess this is all the Paradox Pokemons. And then you have Iron Moth, you have Iron Thorn, and then there's Frigibax. Frigibax, not part of it. Frigibax, Octibax, Baxcalibur, all not considered. Then it's Woe Chain. Okay, sub-legendary. There's Chimbao, there's Ting Liu, which is the cow. Ting Liu. And there's Chiyu, the fish. There's Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon is Paradox. Iron Valiant, also Paradox. And then there's Koraidon. Koraidon is legendary. the bicycle Pokemon, Miraidon, and then there's Walking Wake. Walking Wake is Paradox. Okay. Iron Leaves. Duplin. Duplin is not part of. Poltergeist, Sinistcha, and then Okidoki, Monkey Dory, Fezandipati, Ogapon. Ogapon is sub-legendary. Does that mean Okidogi is part of it? Okay. Monkey Dory, and then Fezandipati. Okay, so we got the sub-legendary done. Okay, interesting. So there's not much left really, because we had 1017. That's Ogapon. 1018. That's Arcaludon. Okay, that's not part of it. We have Hydrapple. Okay, so there's Gorgon Fire, which is Paradox. We have Raging Bolt. Okay, and then we have Iron Boulder, Iron Crown. I guess the last legendary Pokemon is then Terrapagos. And then we have Pecharunt as the last mythical. Cool, great. So what you can gather over here for the sub-legendary, Ultra Beast, Paradox, Legendary, Mythical is they generate Pokemon towards the end of each region, and with that you can sort of work them out. So I guess I'll still need to work on some of these and know the actual numbers. But yeah, it's definitely a new way of learning Pokemon, and it's a bit fun. So I might try types next. So it took me 20 minutes and 56 seconds to figure them out. Yeah, definitely after some practice I'll be able to do this much faster.